Okay, I have a story that I'd like to share with Riley and Mary and Sadie. This story is one that really sticks in my mind. It's an incident that is just written in indelible ink. Back in the early years of the store, there was a family in Buffalo Cove that the husband and father had a bad drinking problem. It was not uncommon to see him lying in the ditch line alongside the road, passed out. He was really a good man at heart, hard worker when he could get to work, but so much of the time he was hung over and he wasn't able to work, and therefore his wages were used mostly to support his drinking habit. And the responsibility fell on his wife really to raise the children and support them. Many times there was no food to go on the table, and she would make her way to the store to get food for the children with no money. But there never was a time that she came after food and she didn't go back home with it. And I didn't hear any of the conversation between her and Mr. Todd, but I'm sure he must have said, "Go ahead and get whatever you need and pay me if and when you can." The morning after Mr. Todd passed away, I was walking down the street in Lenore, and I met one of the boys that was raised in that home. And I said to him, "Did you hear that Mr. Todd passed away?" And he said, after bowing his head, and I saw the tears flow, he said, "No, I had not heard." But he said, "I want to say just one thing." He said, "There were some people in Buffalo Cove that probably would have starved had it not been for J.C. Todd." And he said, "I probably would have been one of those people." And I thought, what a testimony to a man's life, that a man could stand there on the street of Lenore that morning and say, "I probably would not have been here today had it not been for the compassion and the generosity of this man." It had been 3 years and 3 months since the inception of Todd's Place. Most of the major hurdles in getting a new business up and running had been crossed. The loan to help buy the Buffalo Mercantile Company had been repaid. It was time for John Carl and Pearl to move on to the next phase of expanding the service to the community of Todd's store. John Carl negotiated a deal with Myers Remedy Company out of West Virginia to set up and supply a pharmacy. It was a package deal, and this medicine cabinet was a part of the package, and it came with a supply of most of the known medicine of this era. And it also came with an instruction book advising which medicine to give for a specific ailment. Now, As far as I know, there was no laws governing the medical field in the late 20s. No college degree or no crash course in medicine, and as far as I know, not even a license was required. And you might look at this pharmacy today and kind of giggle when you compare it to the enormous pharmacies of today. But if you'll think of the T-model as compared to the luxury cars of today, we can see how much research and development has affected all of our lives. On July 21st, 1927, news was made in the Buffalo Cove community of great magnitude. That was the opening of the pharmacy at Todd's place. To understand the magnitude of the opening of this pharmacy in the Buffalo Cove community, you would need to understand that up until this time, all the residents had in the way of medicine was home remedies. And it was 20 miles to the nearest doctor and pharmacy in Lenore. The road leading out of Buffalo Cove to Lenore was no more than a trail, and it was rocky and rough, muddy, had to ford the creek a few times, and in inclement weather it was impossible to make this 40-mile round trip. It was difficult and very, very taxing on a healthy, strong person. So the doctor visits and the pharmacies were about unknown to the people of this community. It has been commonly told by the family that it was nothing uncommon for a resident of the community to knock on the Todd family's front door in the middle of the night or the wee hours of the morning, seeking medical help for a child or a family member. Now, it's not the most pleasant thing to be awakened out of a peaceful sleep in the wee hours of the morning. But we are told that John Carl would quickly get out of bed and put on an item of clothing and answer the door very cordially and understanding. And on the short walk to the store, he would probably gather all the information that he could about the symptoms of the sick one. And upon entering the store, probably by candlelight, he would meticulously research the book that told him what medicine to give for a particular illness. This pharmacy not only was a great asset to the residents of the community, because it took away a lot of their feelings of helplessness when a loved one took sick. It was also a great asset to Todd's place in helping with the bottom line or the profit margin.